she's doing her music stuff, and she's huge.
Mm-hmm. So you would say she's the Don Rickles of music?
Nah, I wouldn't go that far. I mean, you can't touch Don Rickles.
What if I told you?
Nor would you want to.
Yeah.
Or that's
in the bank. That's in the bank.
You can take that to the bank.
What kind of bank?
The money bank.
The money.
That should just probably introduce us. Like, welcome back. Rabbit Troop sucks. Going to money banks. You need $50,000 because your new father, I guess that's the way of phrasing it, need some medical help, and conveniently, as noted in other films, conveniently in a price package of $50K, you could help your father in Dirty Work, 1998. Welcome back to Rabbit Troop Sucks. As always, we're a podcast about obscure, forgotten about, and often overlooked films. Next to me, to my left, is Collin. Hi, Collin.
Hey.
And then to Collin is La-Mar, taking some sips.
Hello.
And then next to La-Mar is Mike.
Oh, hi.
You have to think about that for a second, didn't you?
I was wondering what Mike was gonna say. Sometimes Mike Mike has had different introductions at times. I'm just gonna say it like that. There are a couple summaries on IMDb about Dirty Work. Again, 1998. Directed by Bob Saget, rest in peace. Starring Norm MacDonald, rest in peace.
Yeah, you pointed out earlier that everyone in this movie is dead.
Yeah, like half the cast is deceased. It's like really sad kind of watching, like even making jokes or whatever. Like, oh man, well that person's just not alive. Yay, welcome back with the comedy. But I like the IMDb summary. There's several as always, but I like the one that's one sentence. A loser finds success in the revenge for hire business.
Oh, that's perfect.
That's solid.
That's solid.
1998.
That's all you need to know.
Dirty Work. Norm MacDonald.
I don't even know why we're doing a podcast about it at this point.
That pretty much sums
That's it, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, that was pretty misleading. He does not find success.
Yeah, no, not really. And you know, it's crazy. We're back to back with Christoper McDonald movies, again, where he's a villain, and I'm going to be like, man, this guy's probably like the nicest dude in real life. Christoper McDonald should be on this podcast. I wonder if there's any way, shape, and form where we could get a hold of him and just be like, dude, you seem super nice, and we love you in all these films, but you play the biggest dick in all of these films.
But he's really good at it.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. So I'm like, this guy's got to be like a great sport, and he seems just really nice.
I'll bet he is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No one holds a chihuahua better in the business than he. It's fantastic.
I don't even know what to say about that.
No, there's nothing to say.
But he's, like you said, just a dick on film, but probably the greatest person ever to meet.
Yeah.
Yeah. But I mean, there are a lot of, aside from people who are dead now, this movie is loaded with fun cameos.
Oh yeah.
Do you want to go through a couple of them, or do you want to pepper it in as we go?
Well, I think the should we say who the biggest one is? I think there's like a really, really big cameo in this.
Gary Coleman.
it's Gary Coleman as Gary Coleman. Yeah. La-Mar, as I noted to you before, I don't think he had a galaxy of prawns.
And I noted he's a few prawns short of a galaxy.
He might be.
I think, well, I mean, maybe everyone has like a slightly bigger cameo. I think Chris Farley is a huge cameo in this.
Oh, sure.
I almost forgot to note him, and I don't know where this is. This sounds really sad. I don't know where this is on his lifespan. This is like towards the end of his life. Like I would imagine this is one of his last films, right?
Yeah, can't remember.
Did
when
anyone look this up?
But that's a good question.
I'm doing it now.
Yeah, he's a lot of fun. It looked like maybe he had like 2 days of shooting. There's like a scene where he's like, or a couple scenes where he's basically at a bar, and another scene where he's not.
He's a notable character. I wouldn't say it's a cameo, but he's not really listed in the credits.
That's the thing. He's sort of like, I think he's notable to us because it's Chris Farley.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, honestly, when it comes down to it, it's 5 minutes sprinkled through.
Oh, wow. This is listed as his last movie. It came out after his death.
That is something. That new perspective of watching it now.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of crazy. So I mean this is our I don't believe we've ever done a movie with Chris Farley, so that's super awesome. I mean Chris Farley, rest in peace, and that's why I said like I almost forgot to note him. He's not really listed in the top, I think like 15 people on IMDb. He is sprinkled through, but he does have a lot of memorable lines and moments, and he's a lot of fun. I mean, but there's a ton of other people in this movie. Bob Saget is the director. Again, rest in peace. So we have Chris Farley, rest in peace. Bob Saget, rest in peace. Norm Macdonald, rest in peace. Don Rickles, rest in peace. And maybe some other people that I forgot to mention in this. So pretty much half, or I would say about 60 to 70% of the most notable cast members are deceased, which is
Jack Warden, who played Pops, is not alive any longer.
Yeah, so super deceased, everybody.
He was also in a movie that we've talked about so many times, Things to Do in Denver When You're Dead.
We got to get to the movie at some point.
I remember that movie being just super boring.
Remember, Mike, if a movie's boring, you just have an extra drink.
That's true. You
I don't know if I
make
can
it
handle
exciting.
that many drinks.
To rewind a little bit, Mike, what do you think the biggest cameo was?
The biggest cameo?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, probably Chris Farley. I mean, Chevy Chase, maybe?
Yeah. John Goodman.
John Goodman, Rebecca Romaine.
I took Chevy Chase almost as a more mainline character.
Yeah.
Like he's like B line character.
Yeah.
Chris Farley was like D-line character. And I don't mean that as like a grade of character, just like he's not like the first prominent character. But Chevy Chase would be like part 2, like B.
Yeah. Adam Sandler. I mean,
Yeah,
I
Adam
guess we
Sandler
all
would be
knew
like,
he was going to show up somewhere.
but like E, because he's just like there for
He's
a
in it
moment.
for a second.
Yeah.
There's probably some that we missed, that there's random characters that, like, we know that the homeless guy from the principal from
Yeah.
I can't recall his name, unfortunately.
No one can.
But we've seen people in other films in this
Yeah.
film, which makes me think there's just a galaxy of
Prawns.
guest
Prawns. Yeah, damn right, prawns.
Galaxy of guest stars and cameos we didn't
Don
catch.
Rickles.
Lamar's on the phone right now, but that phone is not plugged in.
No, it's not.
Yes,
Yes, Mr. President.
The best friend is Sam. It's Artie Lange, right?
Yeah.
I know him as from Mad TV, and I made a note of that. But has anyone seen this guy in like something more recent?
No.
Yeah, nor have I.
Just radio show.
Oh, cool. Like, what do you know? What I am not being facetious. I'm not like, oh, cool radio show, as I say, as like the podcast host of an obscure podcast. But like, do you know like what the premise of that show is or anything like that?
I don't remember who he's with, but it's someone super famous, and we're all gonna look like idiots for not knowing.
I heard it pronounced Artie Lange.
I think
Is
it's
that
already
right?
Lang. Yeah.
Well, how about this?
Oh,
I'm never editing any of this.
There you go.
It was with Howard Stern.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, whoops.
I mean, isn't that how he kind of got his start?
No, I think he's on Mad TV first.
Was he? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know any of this. I'm out of the loop.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm quite a bit out of the loop as well with that. I think it is Artie Lange. I know he's very familiar with Howard Stern.
Yeah. I don't know. Like, I mean, I know him more as a comedian than an actor.
That too. I'm not familiar with most of his
I
work in
know
movies.
no one from anything.
There you go.
Paul's never met anybody.
Who are these people and where are they coming from? I thought you were the only people that existed. You people, my wife, my daughter,
Right.
squirrels.
Only the people that come to your house are real.
Sure, fantastic.
You mentioned this was directed by Bob Saget.
Yeah.
Did he do any other movies that?
I so funny you say that. I looked up some Bob Saget things and there wasn't like a ton of stuff. So again, rest in peace, Bob Saget. He died in January 2022, so a year ago at the age of 65. There was like some TV shows and stuff, and there was like a random movie. I didn't really know what it was. This seemed like the bigger thing, but I think episode of TV shows, there was a Norm Macdonald TV show, and he directed the first episode of that. So I guess I would have to assume they were friends. This is the same studio, Adam Sandler. Goldbergs. I love everything to do with the Goldbergs. I recently mentioned Goldbergs a couple episodes ago. But yeah, I mean, it seems like everyone's having a lot of fun in the studio. Yeah.
When I think of Bob Saget, I think of two things. One, his cameo in Half Baked. Sure. And two, I don't know if anyone remembers this. La-Mar, you probably will, and maybe Paul. Tourette's guy.
Wait, what?
Oh, Bob Saget.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as you said Tourette's guy, I was like, yeah, but I forgot his
They want a
affinity for Bob
lawnmower.
Saget.
That one just gets me every time.
So I think of pretty much a lot of the things Mike noted. Clearly Full House, but his cameo in Half Baked. My brother met Bob Saget at a concert, and he has a photo with him, like a selfie. And I asked my brother what Bob Saget might have done for Coke in reference.
Wow.
My brother did not respond to that.
Okay.
And I did follow up.
Seems fair.
This is a Half Baked reference.
You just really wanted to know.
Yeah. Well, hey, we're in a movie that's super disjointed. I don't know what you guys think of this movie. I have a lot of fun with it, but this movie is super, super edited weirdly. It's sometimes cohesive. Do you guys feel differently about this? That is it not a cohesive film?
Yeah, you're right.
But I have fun with it.
I guess I didn't. I mean, it's not a good, well-crafted movie, but I didn't have any issue with tracking what was happening.
Oh, no. I don't mean like we don't understand like the A to B to C process of this film. It's more just like we're just dumped like scenes. It's like, here's this scene.
Oh yeah,
Here's the-
yeah. You're just kind of brought in.
Yeah, the editing is crap. Like that's what I mean. Like the biggest holdup I would have is the editing is total garbage. It's just like, here's the scene. Here's the scene. Like, yeah, like you'll follow everything that's happening. That's like really my only qualm with this, and probably why this movie's 1 hour and 22 minutes, which, you know, we're a podcast about obscure films. I mean, when you see a movie that's an hour and 22 minutes, you're like, great, softcore porn on Tubi. I mean, that's pretty much like what you're gonna get. But
when I see a movie that's an hour and 20 minutes, I think finally someone knows how to make a movie that is the proper fucking length. Because I don't have 3 hours to dedicate to this shit today.
Mike, what is the time frame that worries you? Like an hour and 10 minutes, an hour and 12 minutes? Because there's been a lot of like quote unquote sci-fi movies
on
Tubi that you're like, that looks like it'd be a fun romp with friends, and you're like, that's straight up softcore porn.
Yeah,
that's what I mean. Like an hour and 22 minutes of this movie, you're like, you're like in that threshold, like you're not at, let's say, an hour and 28 minutes where you're like, that's shy of an hour and a half. But that seems reasonable. An hour and 22 minutes. Wait a minute. You're suspect.
No, like when you get into the 100-minute range, that's
an hour and 10.
That's where it's troublesome for me. There was a night you and I were looking for something to watch. This was pre-RTS, and we kept coming across like these weird sci-fi movies, and the descriptions were like, okay, this could be fun. Then it's like, oh, this is 98 minutes.
This is 70 minutes.
Oh, no, 98.
Sorry, not 98.
I was going to say 98, it's okay.
Right, this is like 80 minutes.
There we go.
And then it's like, oh no, like this is porn. This is pornography.
Yeah,
they were.
There was a time with my brother-in-law, La-Mar, you were there too. We were really quickly like going through some like really like fun, weird films. And then we're like, wait a minute, what's this film? And we're like, we need to watch it. And it was clearly just like 70 minutes of like vampire youth porn.
Yeah, that was disturbing.
Well, we just needed to confirm it at a point in time, but we're like, oh no.
Yeah,
I think that was my crash course in like realizing the minutes of a film is something I need to pay attention to. Mm-hmm. Like before we load it, that is like, again, as Mike just noted, you're like, oh man, an hour and 5 minutes. What kind of movie is this?
Yeah.
And if someone was like in the opening description, like budget art film, I'd be like, okay, like let's talk about that. But then it's like Susie crash landed on a planet of sexy people, and only sexy ways could get her sex out of this. And you're like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right at 1 a.m. And then you're like on IMDb, and then you're a subscriber to thing.
70 minutes into the movie. Wait a minute.
They're fucking again. God, is it? Contemporary directors need to take a page from the pornographers, though. Like some movies are just too fucking long.
I'm waking my wife up. Like, listen, if you see anything like when you load up like Apple TV, I took notes on this for a podcast. It is not pornography. I asked Collin. I was texting Collin at 3 a.m. He told me it was okay. If I woke you up.
We were just taking notes.
Yeah.
I walked past what I saw. Just like this movie starts, Pops isn't doing well.
Well, we start the movie with a flashback. We've got Norm and Artie, or what, Mitch and Sam.
Good job, Mike.
Thank you. I've seen this movie 8,000 times, so I should know something. They're kids. Mitch doesn't have a father, but Pops is kind of like a father figure, although he doesn't like him a ton.
Yeah,
But
they're at odds.
they're at odds. Yeah. Well, he's an old boxer and he's kind of a perv.
Sure.
I like that they got
that old story.
I like that they got child actors to play the kids, but Pops is just the same age, regardless of.
There was a contract involved with
Yeah.
this.
He was fine. But we established that the two of them, they don't like taking shit from people. They like playing pranks and getting revenge on bullies, crossing guards who grab kids' asses, meter maids, I guess.
And the humor will set the
Rude
tone for the
dogs.
whole
Yeah.
movie. If you're laughing like 2 minutes into the movie, you're gonna appreciate the rest of it.
So really quickly
Good
to
call, yeah.
interject, I had to look up. So you're highlighting like some of the humor set up, and we could go into detail like weird pervy things like crossing guards, like grabbing kids' asses. Like this is a very like controversial comedy. Like this is probably nowadays not
Well, I mean, we start the movie off making light of a sexual predator.
right. And so this is 1998. So brand new year, 2024. We're looking at things that are honest to God, like 20, like 25 years old. That's like insane. Like 26. But so I had to look this up. I was like, when did Half Baked come out? So Half Baked also came out in 1998.
Oh wow,
So
good year.
yeah, so this is crazy. So my real quick thought was, wow, this is like a real probably breaking point for Bob Saget. Because, if you have not seen Half Baked, his cameo is jarring. The comedy is funny, but jarring at the same time. And so to see him like, wow, I'm also directing this. This is a completely different side. I mean, like, I have to assume most people in the 1998 perspective, we're looking at a quarter of a century ago. Holy shit.
Yeah.
But we're looking at, what's Danny's last name in Full House?
Tanner.
Danny Tanner. Most people have that Danny Tanner lens on because it's 1998. And now I'm like thinking of this film. I'm thinking of his cameo in Half Baked. Like, this is crazy. Like,
When was Full House on through?
I am on it.
I think it debuted in '89 and just lasted till mid 2000s. That show conquered the '90s.
87, La-Mar.
Jesus, that's earlier than I thought.
87 to 95.
Wow.
Okay, so it had been over for a couple of years, but not too long.
Yeah, and so, I mean, still, we're also looking through a lens of, like,
America's
90s.
Funniest Home Videos.
Yeah,
as well.
yeah, America's Funniest Home Videos, 90s sitcom sensibilities. And then this would come out, and this would be like South Park humor every which way. And people would be like, holy shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh my God, Danny Tanner.
That's true. I guess he was doing like dirty stand up before that too. So I guess if you're familiar with his stand up,
Well, yeah, that's
Maybe
what I'm
it
saying.
wasn't
Like,
too
this was
jarring.
like a wave at all at once, I
Yeah,
would
that's
assume.
true.
Yeah, I don't know, like, when he was doing all his stand-up, but, like, mid-90s, late 90s. So, like,
Was he known for a dirty stand-up like during the Full House time, or
I
did
don't-
that come out?
I did not know.
Like, I don't. Again, everyone hates me. I don't think I've ever seen an episode of Full House.
well, Mike,
So-
I don't think I knew about any of his dirty stand-up until Half Baked.
Right.
And then people were like, whoa, but haven't you seen his stand-up? And most people were like, no.
No. Well, I mean, I remember, like, I knew what Full House was. I was familiar with, like, the cultural implications of it. I just never really seen it. So when I saw Half Baked, I was like, oh, that's the Full House guy. This is not what I was expecting him to be doing. And yeah, all the legit people were like, oh yeah, like, he's like a dirty motherfucker in a stand-up. I just didn't know if I didn't know if for the people who watched Full House, if that was known and understood.
It wasn't to me.
Okay,
I
that's fair.
first saw him in Full House, and I thought, well, what a nice young man. And then I saw Half Baked, and like, what
Love
the
it.
hell's going on here?
La-Mar, since Mike hasn't seen Full House, I think you and I could talk on a little bit of code. So, what kind of guy do you think Mike is? Do you think he's more like a grown-up Olsen twin guy? Do you think he's like Kimmy Gibbler? Do you think he's like Jody? Do you think he's Candace? Like, what's going on?
Which is the one that
Don't worry about it, Mike.
went to jail for like bribing colleges.
That's Aunt, and she's not even on the table, fella.
Sorry, well, I didn't know. I don't know the names.
Code intact, La-Mar. So what kind of guy do you think you peg Mike for?
I think he'd be a Joey guy.
Jody?
A Joey.
Is Joey?
Joey?
Yes.
Oh,
Now,
wow.
hear me out on this.
Is he the one that was also on Nickelodeon?
I don't know if he was.
What's the?
He's just he just keeps quiet. He makes little one-liner
Who's
jokes.
the one who's the one who does like the
Whoa, no,
the fucking
no.
gopher
I'm not
dance
saying
or whatever?
Oh my God, La-Mar, I'm not saying who do you think he would be. I'm saying who do you think he would be into?
Oh.
Who do I want to fuck?
Don't worry about it, Mike.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah. Now going back to my examples, do you
Yeah.
think he's grown-up Olsen? Do you think he's Kimmy Gibbler? Do you think he's Jody? Do you think he's Candace? Who do you think he is?
Damn.
Same answer.
Now, I've never seen Fuller House, so I know that these people become other people.
Sure.
I'm not really
We're just
sure,
going
but
Full House, regular Full House.
You'd be down with Aunt Becky.
Oh wow, you bring her back to Aunt Becky?
Yeah.
Oh
I think
wow.
So. I was into Aunt Becky. I mean, she is a criminal, but yeah.
Oh, is that the college one?
Yeah, that'd be the Lori Loughlin. I think you would be down for.
I'm gonna look this up. All right.
There you go.
Wow. I mean that's the one.
Other than that, everybody else is off the table. I can't get into that realm.
She's got the crazy eyes.
Wow, I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, Mitch grew up.
Oh yeah. Oh, where are we at in Dirty Work?
Oh,
we're at a tangent in Full House.
We haven't talked about dirty work in a while.
Who Mike would be hooking up with?
I think you'd be hooking up with Tony Ann from this movie.
Tony Ann. That's such a great name.
It is.
I can't remember who
weird-ass
Tony
name.
Ann is, and I wrote that down.
Aldo's daughter.
Yeah,
That
the-
broke up
Oh,
right
yeah.
at the
Yeah, we're
beginning.
gonna get a scene flash to the
That's
present,
right, Tony Ann.
and he's banging this Tony Ann chick, and she's not down with his failure.
Well, that's why it's Dirty Work.
It is
It
dirty
is, yeah.
work.
Yeah, so he's all grown up. Things haven't worked out. He's delivering pizza for Aldo. 30 minutes or less. He misses a couple too many.
Spicy meatball.
Yeah, he doesn't get the spicy meatballs there in time.
So spicy.
It's just so spicy.
When's the last time you guys had a pizza place that had a policy like that? 30 minutes or it's free.
Never.
No, never.
Like
what
in
the
a world of DoorDash and Uber, it's like you're lucky if your food's
Is this
delivered.
just
Are
like
you
a
serious?
TV movie trope? It doesn't exist in real life.
La-Mar?
No, I don't know.
Oh, that is the saddest.
I think last time I ordered a pizza, I mean, it was, I don't remember what
Little
the
Nero's?
service was. It was Little Nero's, yeah.
Nice.
But
Thanks
like
for the tip.
a child brought it to my door. Like it was clear that
Here for the holidays.
the DoorDash driver or whoever was just driving around and having their like 9-year-old child
Nice.
run their. I mean, get the family involved, I guess, if you need to make the money and you don't have childcare. But like, I was handed a pizza by a child, and I was like, okay,
Was it at
okay,
night?
like I was,
Was it at night and dark?
yes, it was.
Yeah.
and I don't have lights outside my house.
It was like stage like 1 of 3 where Mike's like, yeah, there's child, there's this pizza, and then like FBI investigators like, I heard your podcast and this child's been missing.
I mean, it kind
Mike's
of seemed
there-
like a trap.
Yeah, Mike's like, there's not like lights in front of my house, and like this pizza was weird.
Well, I have Christmas lights up in front of my house still.
It's like a child's delivering a pizza to Mike's van in an alley.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for those of you who've
Maybe-
seen my
maybe
house,
Mike's
which I
a
think
Ninja
is
Turtle.
I think is just Collin. My house is really shitty, so like it's you could make some assumptions about what happens in there. You'd be right.
Is it shitty? Like it has something in the basement that they can arrest you for, like shackles and
Yeah.
And children.
nice.
Mike, I can think of all sorts of things. Here's a show that will get me back in every which way.
Okay.
Now that we're, like, I know we're approaching, like, out of the holiday situation, but, like, things that, like, there's not been new shows, there's been writer strikes. My wife and I have gone right back to Law and Order, Special Victims Unit.
Wow.
And they get you back every time. Every
Damn.
time, Lamar. Every time.
Can't go back.
Got to go back every
Can't go
time.
back.
And so nothing surprises me.
I don't understand the appeal of that show.
It's amazing.
Maloney.
He's back.
It's a bunch of Maloney. I don't know what that means, but no.
Yeah, you know Maloney.
Christopher Maloney?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I like him in the Harold and Kumar series.
Do you?
Yes, I do.
Sings like an angel.
He does sing like an angel. Dirty work.
That's dirty.
It is dirty.
Yeah.
Let's go back. Let's go back.
Let's go back to talking about something else.
I know. Let's do that. Lamar. Why are you going, Mike, with an Aunt Becky style? I'm very curious.
We're back to
yeah.
which Full House.
I feel like
this is the real podcast.
Well, because she's a criminal. I
do
feel
like-
she's doing dirty work.
Yeah.
You're gonna be in for that. Everybody else is so innocent, except for maybe Kimmy. I feel like Kimmy can do some dirty work as well, but that's not your type.
I heard Kimmy Gibbler on a podcast recently, like real life Kimmy Gibbler.
I saw her on an interview as well recently. I think her name is Andrea Barber, if I'm not mistaken.
She is. So I don't know what your take on this interview that you saw or heard. Was it like an audio?
I think she just recently had a kid, and it was a video off of. I can't recall.
So mine was a podcast.
Yeah.
She was probably one of the most down to earth, reasonable celebrities I've honestly ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Like ever. There was a lot of. I remember they were asking her about when you're working on Full House, what was everyone doing? And she was like, "Oh, I would hang out with Stephanie." And she's like, I was years older than her, and she's like, I know that wasn't like the cool thing to do, but we actually formed like a real life friendship over the years because of this. But we were like the two who were like, oh, I don't party and I don't go to clubs and I don't do weird stuff. I just am here for a job and then I do other stuff with my family. It was like a very, I don't want to say wholesome because it wasn't just trying to be I'm trying to be wholesome. It was just my parents also knew I lived in a world of celebrities in awfulness, and we kind of weren't that. And it wasn't a slant against other people in the cast, but it was a slant against other childhood celebrities, whereas there's no way to get out of this.
I have no idea what we're talking about right now. I'm just looking across the studio at Collin, looking at his notes longingly.
I also did not really watch Full House, so I'm just all right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Is deep.
We should set up. You could totally set up a Patreon though, and then we could have all of the Full House conversations you want.
That's true.
Step by step.
This could be.
That was not a joke.
Could be branching off to Full House or Step by Step or Jeff Franklin podcast.
I was going to say jokingly, step by step, we go through all the Full House episodes, but no.
I wonder if.
I just like to psychologically analyze Mike and sitcoms sometimes.
It's sitcoms that I've not seen.
That's why Lamar and I were able to talk in code.
Gotta show you some more Who's the Boss episodes.
I never want to watch another Who's the Boss episode.
Not even the one where Tony sees Angela naked in the
God,
shower.
I saw that episode every week. Every week that
Just
episode
watch that
was
one
on.
and end it.
Every week.
Yeah.
Mike, what was your favorite sitcom growing up? Any. I know you say you have not watched sitcoms, but clearly there's been a few.
I don't know.
What was one of your jams?
I mean, Seinfeld, I guess.
Okay.
Are we counting that?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I didn't. That was kind of the time when I started having TV.
So how about this? Yeah. So when you were younger, what was a channel that came through? What would be a show? How about this? It doesn't have to be one of your favorites. Because there's a handful of shows I could say what was I subjected to? Like, what was a show that you watched as a kid that was a sitcom that you remember?
None of them.
At all?
Well,
like,
I mean...
So, like, what was before Seinfeld for you?
Well, for most of my growing up, like, we just had antenna TV, and the only station that we could get in the woods was PBS.
Okay.
So, I mean, I watched, like, PBS shit. A lot of the, like, Agatha Christie, like, Poirot with David Suchet from...
Oh, shit.
What movie did we do that he was in? I think it was Wing Commander.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So that kind of stuff. Like, it wasn't until I was in high school and we got a Prime Star satellite dish that I really started having access to, like, contemporary broadcast television.
So, I mean, you're not, like... We'll have to ask Collin. You're not far from La-Mar and I. So when I was much younger, we did have like HBO and stuff like this. And then I was living in another state, and then we had antenna, and then another state. I would say half the time I had antenna. So there were sitcoms I would see. So things like Full House, etc. I would see on like a crappy antenna like TV because like we actually got that. It'd be like one of a handful of channels we got, like acknowledging I was like, oh my god, we once had MTV. Nice. It's gone. And I know La-Mar and I have talked about this. Like, La-Mar, I told you like Star Trek Next Generation. I watched that because literally it was like that was one of 3 channels I had at night, and I was like, hell yeah, like I'm gonna watch this show.
Good man.
Right. So like, yeah. So it was. They were like, yeah, like. Collin, anything for you, like sitcom wise growing up, even if you didn't like it?
Yeah, I mean, there's a few, but it's hard to think back to the earliest one. But there were things like dinosaurs.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Star Trek. I don't know. Hard to think back that far. None of them were very good, and I don't think I would go back to revisit any of them.
Yep.
La-Mar and I could have endless conversations about Mama's Family. It was like, hey, cool. I'm 12 years old and it's 10 o'clock. It was like Mama's Family, Highlander, the series.
Oh yeah, Duncan MacLeod.
Yeah, it was like the one channel I could out. And so that's why I usually ask Mike, because I didn't have like endless like cable channels, even though like I was aware of them. It was definitely like I could dial into 3 channels. Like one was complete garbage, and one was like, here's the sitcom channel, the only one I have access to. And honestly, my brother and I for a while just had like a small black and white TV, and that's how we watched some of it and played Nintendo. So I was like, wow.
Yeah, that's pretty much me. I've always recalled having a TV in my room, and just I grew up as an indoor TV kid, just watching random channels, whatever I could find. It's how I grew into my obsession of watching sitcoms and old TV shows and wrestling and just
episodes
whatever.
Of Studs.
I remember Studs vividly. Like, oh my god, it was terrible.
Oh yeah,
but that's just me. Even terrible TV, I could tolerate. Just sit there and watch and just like appreciate it and riff it. As a kid, this is terrible. But I gave him ratings.
Yeah, it's totally still terrible.
I'm glad we can recognize that.
I'll still watch it.
I feel now Mike was only watching weird PBS. It was like you have to be educational, or was getting like painting lessons, or
well, I mean that's really all we got. I was outside most of the time when I was a kid. I was like running around the woods or playing with my dog or riding my bike. Me. Yeah, I just didn't. I didn't really watch a lot of television.
Mike wasn't opposite of me. Like, so
you've seen every show on the planet,
but
that I've not even heard of.
Well, everything that you're telling me is like when Mike is like saying like I've seen all these shows. La-Mar and I have talked to him like this is what I watched at like 9 o'clock at night on like a small TV. Like now it was like you're not allowed to be outside anymore because I was a kid, or summers. It was like. Cool, like it's 9 o'clock. You need to be inside, but it's like you don't need to go to sleep. I guess you could watch this weird TV. Yeah. And I'm like, Mama's Family, Star Trek Next Generation.
That was
like,
what was on.
Yeah, like that. Yeah, so it was like I could do other things, but that was like pretty much all I was doing until like I would go to bed, and then I'd read. Like I like actively read and stuff like that. But these would be the shows I'd watch, and a lot of them were always like. And now that I'm thinking about them. like summers or holidays, and that's how I had free time to watch them. It's just like these weird in between times, but it's like you have one channel to do it on. And that just like Dirty Work, just like the plot of Dirty Work, you have one channel to do it on.
What's Dirty Work?
I don't even know. It's a movie.
Whatever it is, it's dirty.
Guys, you guys are too focused on the movies.
I know. I apologize.
Something about a Rottweiler.
Yeah, as a kid, he got chased by Rottweiler, and part of his plots to get revenge was to get a bigger, gayer German Shepherd.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a few things in this movie that I feel like wouldn't make the cut these days. Like all the gay jokes.
All the edgy comedy of 1998 was kind of filtered into this movie.
But, I don't know.
Yeah,
Maybe
got a chuckle back then. Now it's like whatever, kind of lame.
Yeah, I don't know.
It still got a chuckle out of me.
Well, I mean,
Some of it doesn't hold up proper.
Sure,
Some
yeah.
of it does. You can chuckle like, haha, gay dogs, haha.
Well, I was Colin and I were talking before we recorded about like I genuinely find this movie very funny still, potentially because I'm a monster. But he pointed out that the things that you found funny like in that period of your life just kind of whether or not they've aged well, just they can still get a chuckle out of you, and I agree with that. And this movie is like representative of that for me. There's a lot of things that if I saw it for the first time now, I'd do a little bit of collar wringing, like ugh. No. But because I saw this movie when it came out, and I would have been 18, I guess. And I was an idiot.
Yeah, got nostalgia for you. You went back. It's like, I remember when that was funny.
Yeah, totally.
It was like I was 18. I was watching Full House.
Yeah.
Maybe he was watching Small Wonder. He's going back.
Yeah, well, all of them is what I was watching.
All of it in a row.
But yeah, so we've established that they're friends. He doesn't like Pops. They like to take revenge on people who mess with them. They don't like taking crap from people. That's kind of the thesis of this movie. And yeah, now he's an adult. He's down on his luck. He gets fired from the pizza gig. The pizza.
Mike, would you say this is like the original Mario and Luigi of 1998? So like the original 1998 Mario and Luigi? You heard what I said.
Yeah, he gets fired. They use the de-evolution ray and turn him into a Goomba.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep.
Normal stuff.
Yeah.
It could be Mario and Luigi. There's a tall, skinny guy and a fat guy.
Yeah.
It's a spicy meatball.
Exactly. And there's a few Italian jokes here.
Tall stalk of celery. Or asparagus.
I mean, either.
That's a piccata I wouldn't mess with.
Wow. You don't want to mess with the piccata.
You can put some fennel in that.
Yeah, his girlfriend dumps him, kicks him out. And he moves in with Sam and Pops. That's kind of where the movie really starts.
Yeah.
Sure. Pops is a dirty old man.
Pops is a dirty old man. He's watching like fucking Jazzercise, and when the two of them get home, he's like, "Why didn't you bring me a whore?" And Sam was like, "Well, hey, Pops, I thought your wiener didn't work anymore." He's like, "Well, I got this new magazine subscription," which is one of my favorite visual gags of this movie. It's a magazine that he shows to the camera called "Impotent Old Men and Whores."
Nice cover too.
Very nice cover. He's like, I've been getting some ideas from this new magazine. They got stereo reviews in there. That's for you though. But yeah, we know Pops is just a weird old perv.
I think Pop says his priorities somewhat straight. Outside of the verbiage of calling anyone a whore or something along those lines, Pops is of a time where he's going to die. And he's just like, I want sex and probably some kind of like tranquil booze, and I'm going to go to sleep.
Yeah. I mean, that's what we all want, really.
Except he doesn't mince words. He's all about just, I'm up front. This is what I want. I don't care.
When you're that old, you don't have time to pussyfoot around.
That's true.
Well, that's what I'm saying, kind of complimentary. Like, his verbiage is outdated, and, I mean, this movie's 1998, so, like, I mean, so here's the crazy thing. So, I mean, I've heard more people reference this, like, as of late, especially, like, I love Back to the Future and various other things. I mean, Back to the Future was 1950. This was 80 years ago. Like, holy God. So we're looking at 1998. So this movie alone was 25 plus years ago. And we're looking at a man who's super old, who was, like, born in what, like, I don't know.
The 1870s.
I was there when the railroad was invented. I'm the original banker.
My guess is like, 19 the teens maybe.
Right. So I'm
Yeah.
not defending like how he's phrasing things.
Right.
Like his verbiage is super outdated and derogatory. But like the guy's like, I want sex and booze before I die. I'm like, okay.
Well, in all fairness, he didn't
gonna die.
He didn't call everyone a whore. He did refer to many women as broads.
There we go.
So that's a little bit cleaner. Okay. But that's the relationship. And, Mitch is moving in with him because he got kicked out of his house. So I don't even know where the fuck we are. Oh, okay.
Well, I mean, we should probably ask Collin why Rob Schneider was not in this film and how he feels about his absence from this film.
Yeah, do you want to comment on that as our senior Rob Schneider correspondent?
They easily
Schmoggleton?
could have replaced Kirkpatrick with Rob Schneider. I thought about it the entire movie.
Oh, no, that actually makes a lot of sense. Yeah, they could have.
Wow.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, Schmoggleton over here, that's our correspondent. Wow. Schmoggleton. Only referencing Schneider and Schmoggleton. The fact that you thought about this all throughout the film is amazing.
Well,
for me.
he could have played basically the same character.
I
as
totally
Grandma's
agree.
Boy.
I actually thought Collin was going to write this off as a joke, but I was like, oh shit. Then he just said that, and I was like, oh my God. That's why he's Schmoggleton.
Schmoggleton sounds like if
How dare you?
Smog from The Hobbit had like a slightly slow,
Schmog?
younger dragon sidekick, like Scooby-Doo and
Ralphington?
Scrappy-Doo.
Elizabeth.
Anthony.
Damn it.
Any butchering of names? The slaughtering of your namesake is accepted at Rabbit Troop Sucks.
Welcome to Rabbit Troop Sucks After Hours.
Dirty Work. Dirty Work Holiday Edition. So you've been in my cab for like 4 minutes. Like, you want to talk about anything? I've killed 57. And crazy. You want to sign this contract to talk on this camera? I do.
Yeah. Well, they Sam and Mitch go to a bar to kind of commiserate. And they're hanging out, getting some drinks. We're introduced to
I never got his name. Chris
Farley.
Chris Farley. It was Jimmy. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Who we meet him by they're clowning on him. He had his nose bitten off by a Saigon whore. And he's very sensitive about it.
As you do.
Yeah. But they're hanging out. Sam goes to hit on a woman, and they end up getting entwined with some frat guys who want to get into a fight. And no one. I'm just me talking now.
No, all these scenes are just like they add up to really nothing. They're just scenes.
Yeah, no. This movie has very little substance.
I've
So if you
said
go
this
scene
before.
by scene, it just
I
doesn't
said
add
this
up.
when
Yeah.
this movie opened up, that the editing of this movie is terrible.
I
But
mean,
there's like so many fun moments. But
I don't
like,
think it's the editing is terrible. I just think none of the scenes really matter.
I think there's a story that like is threaded throughout, but it's just like presented and dumped upon you.
Sure.
Yeah, I think kind of maybe part of the problem with that is like really since they spend so much time like establishing each little element, it kind of seems just like a collection of montages.
Yes, yeah, Collin, I totally agree. Like that's why I'm like, this is fun at its core, but if you're really watching this for like a cinematic, cohesive moment,
Why would you?
well, I mean, like, even for a comedy, like let's go. How about this? Deuce Bigelow. That movie is bananas.
Yeah.
but A to B, you know what's going on, and there's more of a threaded film. This movie is just, I totally agree with Collin. This movie is totally moment after moment. It's montages that kind of bleed into one another. It's very bizarre. Again, I'm not saying that I don't have fun with this movie. Just how it's put together is kind of crap. It's just bizarre. It's just like, I don't want to say it's even crap. It's just weird. Like we've watched like bottom of the barrel movies in our life, some for this podcast, but like the way this movie is given to us, the audience, I'm just like, what happened? Like in some ways, I'm like, an hour and 20 minutes is not long, and then in this movie, I'm like, maybe it's too long.
You know, you say an hour and 20 minutes. I feel like 10 of those minutes was the extra dialogue that should have been added to this movie to stretch it out, to make some of these scenes more cohesive. But they're edited out for the sake of just getting this movie tightened up, and you don't need to know about this dialogue. You don't need to know about this. Just get this movie in and out of the oven and as funny as possible. It feels like it's up Norm Macdonald's humor of just laugh, laugh, laugh. All right, keep going, keep going, keep going. And it has no substance in the end. But it's just laugh, 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 laugh.
Like, the real point of this scene, I think, was really just to introduce...
yes, I was going there.
The
frat guys.
No,
the frat
girl.
guys and the girl.
Yeah.
Kathy.
Yeah, Kathy. Yeah. And then they just, augment it by repeating the toss Norm Macdonald out or something.
The
I do like
Norm
the
Macdonald
scene.
gag is great. But yeah, so this scene does a couple things. It introduces Kathy, who becomes the love interest. Her and Mitch just start talking at the bar. It also, we're introduced to Shooter McGavin, whatever the fuck his character's name is, because he's on television.
Travis Cole.
Travis Cole. And the biggest thing that this scene does is it introduces the characters of Mitch and Sam back to the idea of getting revenge on people.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because they get their asses kicked by the frat guys, but then they go into this like long drawn out revenge scheme to get the frat boys' asses kicked by the real cops. So this scene sets up a few things. We're introduced to a couple characters, and it sets the trajectory of the two of them kind of getting back on this revenge for hire idea.
Good analysis. It's not all mindless.
Well, this is a deep movie. I don't know what you're saying. So many layers.
Well, as I was saying before, like, the editing or how it's like put together is kind of dumped upon us. I keep thinking, again, this is a 25-plus-year-old movie. And I think a lot of it is resting on the fact that, like, you were going into this in 1998. There's this idea that who these actors are and their comedy stylings. So it's like, almost like you're relying more on, I know who Norm Macdonald is as far as SNL and some cameos go. I don't really need more of a backstory. And I'm not saying that doesn't work. I'm just saying it's bizarre. Like I encourage anyone listening to this podcast to watch this film, because sometimes we watch movies and it's like it's edited and it's total shit. And you're like, this is insane. But these montages in a way work. In some ways, I'm just like, I have to like remove myself that I've seen this before or know this. I'm like, this is bananas in some ways, but in some ways I'm like, as you guys La-Mar were saying, like, it's just like joke, 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 burn, burn, burn. It works for me. Like, I don't know. This is like kind of an anomaly for a film for me. Does that kind of make sense?
It does.
Yeah.
What was that other? I want to say not Dead Man on Campus, but or was it Dead Man on Campus?
Don't you ever
Why are
fucking
you
talk to me
doing
about
this?
I'm sorry.
This
Why
is
would
a
you
new
do this
year.
to me?
This is a new year. I thought we could move beyond this. Why are you doing this?
When we
to me?
reviewed that movie, we said the same thing. These are just scenes strung together, scenes over and over and over again. But this movie feels different because it's building. It's a lot better, but it's building the plot versus that was just going for the cheapest joke.
I mean, I feel you're like, let's talk about Mike's angry place.
Yeah.
Mike's happy
Don't
place.
take me back to the dark times.
Well, now doesn't this make Dirty Work feel so much bigger of a movie now?
Yeah.
There we go. In comparison,
I'm like, man, we just might need to like take a pause and give Mike another drink. Like,
Well, we might. I didn't know this was going to take this long. I only brought 2 beers with me, so
there's some dirty work.
might need to go up for a refresh. Okay.
that was a bar fight that we were talking about.
Yeah, so the
That's
bar
over.
fight happens. They get revenge on the frat guys. back at home, they're talking about how much fun it was, and Pops has a heart attack. Yeah.
While he's watching some bras work out.
He's watching some broads work out. I think it might have been the same video from earlier.
Nah, it was a different one. I was paying
Yeah.
close attention to that video.
Nice.
I'm going to reboot this movie. It's going to be a children's movie, and it's going to be called Back at Gnome.
Gnome?
Like GN.
Oh, they're all gnomes.
Like Gnome, Alaska?
No, like
Gnome Alone?
like little gnomes.
I'm
garden
doing a
gnomes.
whole holiday series, Gnome Alone 2.
There's a movie called Bone Alone. That's a Home Alone movie, but with a dog.
I thought that was a
Are you
porno
sure?
you were setting up. Is it that or a porno?
It's both.
All right.
How much of it did you watch? Mike, let's just circle back. Was the movie 1 hour and 9 minutes?
No, it was like 84 minutes.
No.
I know exactly what movie you watched.
I didn't watch it. It's when
Mike
we
gave
were,
me the thumbs up.
yeah,
Mike just texted me a
literally and
screenshot.
figuratively. I gave him the thumbs up.
It's like 3 a.m. We just texted Jeremy. Jeremy, wake up. Here's a screenshot.
Where's Jeremy? What's he doing? What is more important than this
He's
right now?
bone aloneing.
He was ready to record.
bone at home?
but it took us 2 hours to get out of here. He bailed.
He was on Zoom waiting for us for hours, just staring at a blank screen. Okay. Fuck.
So, Pops had a heart attack. He's in the hospital.
Pops had a heart attack. He's in the hospital. Paul's amusing himself with his fucking noisemaker.
Extra sad once you said that. I was like, I didn't think we were going to jump back to that.
No, we're jumping back to it. Pops' doctor is Chevy Chase,
Yeah.
who has a gambling problem.
He seems like he was paid in a day's work. Chevy Chase does not seem like this was like... Although I said he's more of a character than others, this seems like it was like we're going to film this in 48 hours.
That's probably true. Honestly, I know Chevy Chase, like, historically is known to be difficult to work with. And he's been fired from many Community, which I love. But Chevy Chase always seems like he's giving it his all, even when people don't like him. And even in this movie, which sucked, and he wasn't, he was kind of a bit part. Like, I really feel like Chevy Chase was bringing it.
He seemed like he was having fun doing
Yes,
I don't
absolutely.
disagree.
Yeah.
I recently watched Snow Day. Hey, 'tis the season. It's, January. Let's do that snow.
Yeah, Snow Day's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we could do Fletch anytime on this. I mean, I think there's a lot of people who have not watched. Hey, Colin, have you seen Fletch? Have you seen Fletch
I'm
Lives?
sure I've seen Fletch.
Colin's answer screams to me, let's watch Fletch.
I would do that.
It's been a while.
Colin says, but I'm like, well, Fletch won.
Has it? Well, obviously. Has anyone seen the remake?
No, we were going to watch it, but then you watch it like on a trip. Like,
Yeah, I saw it on an airplane.
yeah.
I'd watch it again with you.
Yeah, I'd watch it. Colin, you should totally watch Fletch 1. Like, seriously. Like, Fletch 1, I think, especially with some of the humor we've talked about in more recent films, I think you would totally dig.
Yeah.
Is the new one John Hamm?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think we should do that for the podcast.
Oh, the John Hamm one?
Yeah.
But regular old Fletch?
I do regular Fletch.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Okay. But, Fletch starring Chevy Chase, who's in this movie as a doctor,
How dare you?
he's got a gambling problem, and he breaks it to the boys. Pops needs a new heart. He's not an athlete. He's no one famous. He's really fucking old.
Just time to do some dirty work.
He's not high up on the priority list. But if you get me $50,000,
Or do some dirty work to get me $50,000.
yeah, whatever you need to do to get $50,000, I can bump his name up and get him a heart because I need to pay these gambling
As
debts.
long as you do some dirty work.
So,
And that kicks off the business.
not to read too much into this, but
Okay.
he has to be running the worst practice of all time.
Absolutely,
He's
yeah.
pretty much the Nick Riviera of real life docs here.
That's true.
He's got a gambling
Hey, everybody.
problem. Hi, everybody.
No, he's fine. So these gents are like, you know what? Let's do some dirty work because that's what's going to stick it to the man. And, conveniently, as we've noted in other films, in a prize package of $50K, you could get a heart surgery.
Well, at first they try to get some jobs. They try to get a construction job, but they don't know anything about construction. They get $50 for test eating some brownies, which gives Norm MacDonald hives, and it makes him hallucinate. Gary Coleman and Adam Sandler as the devil.
Yeah, sure.
That was a nice little scene.
It was a good one. Then they get a job at a movie theater, where Don Rickles is their manager. Don Rickles is just laying into to Sam about being, a bit husky.
Well, we noted that this Adam Sandler had a cameo. Adam Sandler production company right here, as I noted before, Goldberg's. Any of you have a favorite Adam Sandler film? I say this, my wife has warmed up to Adam Sandler over the years. I like Adam Sandler. I mean, I know Adam Sandler could be in super dumb as shit films, but there's so many like fun one-liners, and as he grows older, some of his more recent films I've really liked, and those are the films my wife has liked. She's like, I like this more subdued, not over the top, like Happy Gilmore Adam Sandler, and I totally understand.
I like the ones with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, the murder mystery ones.
Yeah.
Those are the ones my wife likes, and I do too. It's like, it's not over the top. This is just like weirdly odd.
Yeah.
Like just odd, silly.
I thought those movies were fun. I mean, to me, they're not the same as like the classic Adam Sandler movies.
No.
The best Adam Sandler cameo was not this movie, but it was Deuce Bigelow 2. Do you know what I'm talking about?
In the training video.
It's like the in memoriam video.
That's right. That's right. Colin, do you have any Adam Sandler highlights?
I like The Wedding Singer, but I just might just because I have a thing for Drew Barrymore.
Oh, really?
I did when I was a kid.
Oh, man.
Do you not like Drew Barrymore?
I
I like the struggle. I'm indifferent. I have nothing to say about Drew Barrymore.
Every time I see Drew Barrymore, I kind of want to not watch Drew Barrymore anymore.
It's been like 20 years since I've seen Ever After, but I really liked that movie when it came
Wedding
out.
Singer is that's a fun one. And Wedding Singer is a super fun film. I would go back to Wedding Singer at any point in time. It's such a fun film.
I thought you were going to Firestarter.
Wow. La-Mar, any fun Adam Sandler films?
Not really. Adam Sandler's just like whatever to me. I love Uncut Gems. I saw that with in the theater.
Yeah, that's good.
As far as a classic, I think my favorite is. It's kind of funny you mentioned your wife didn't like Happy Gilmore. I think Happy Gilmore is my favorite Adam Sandler film. I don't know why. I think it's the right level of comedy for me.
La-Mar,
it's not too over the top, like Little Nicky. I think Waterboy. I don't. I'm sorry.
No one else does.
Waterboy's just a little over the top. But I like it.
Happy Gilmore, I agree, La-Mar. It's completely over the top silliness, but there's enough deadpan one-liners. They're like, damn, that cut to the core. like someone took a back approach to be like, here's a world of insanity and silliness, and someone's like, here's a real knife blow to the gut or the heart. And you're like, Also, Happy Gilmore has Julie Bowen from Modern Family, who's amazing. She every time I see her in anything, she is super, super awesome. So I don't know.
Hubie Halloween.
Hubie Halloween's awesome.
Hubie Halloween is
I like it.
Yeah, so that's the older Adam Sandler, a little more subdued, but like it doesn't always have to be over the top. It just could be like, you're fun.
I also have a little soft spot for Billy Madison. I don't know why.
Me too.
Billy Madison's great.
And Uncut Gems. I think Adam Sandler was kind of like, from what I could tell in the media, was like a little taken aback. Like, I wasn't even really nominated or won this award. I don't know what that guy has to do. Uncut Gems, he totally should have won an Academy Award. That was a huge mistake. And not to get like politically on this obscure film podcast, but there's nothing that guy could have done differently, and I think that just shown every which way in the Academy Awards.
Yeah, that movie was great. Even Punch Drunk Love, I thought he was really good in.
Okay.
Even though that movie, every time I watch it, it makes me really angry, but I think it's supposed to.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, Adam Sandler films have been super fun as of late, and his production company always seems like super fun to work with. Mm-hmm. I know it seems like we're derailed from this film. I mean, like, but that's this film. Going back to what Colin said, this movie's like way more like montages. Like, now that you know the characters, here's situational stories. But the story is really just they're doing odd jobs to make money, and the situation is they're gonna ruin someone's day at the job where, i.e., employees are like, my boss sucks. We're each going to give you like $10, but it's going to equate to $150 if you guys make this job fun for us, but shitty for our manager. And that's like most of the movie. Like kind of like Jackass if it was a film, but fictional, but more realistically silly.
Sure.
Not just people like hammering their balls.
Right. Well,
Like,
I mean,
I don't know what to say.
So the movie theater gig that they get with Don Rickles, this is where that
The Rick?
concept comes into play. Yeah, the D. Ricks, Danny Ricks. He's a dick, and he's making a big deal about like this tonight's got to go well. I don't know fucking why, but Chris Farley's brother, who is one of the actors in this scene, is like, I really hate that guy. And they're like, well, let's fuck up his life. And they're like, well, we need this job, but we'll give you money if you fuck his life up.
But I also noted he was giving a talk to all of them like it was 25 new employees at a theater.
Well, it might have been. I mean, we don't really know the context.
I kind of thought like those, like it was they were getting ready to open or something. For the
like
night.
the big wigs were there for an inspection.
Those two guys were new, but everyone else had been there for a while.
Yeah, I don't really know.
It was just a pep talk for the day.
But
so I took it as it was, yes, the bigwigs were there, but it was like a new theater, like being opened to be presented to those bigwigs. And also, everyone who was being employed there was like, I don't know, what do you think the lowest age was there? 28?
Yeah, old.
maybe.
Am I at a movie theater? Like, all right.
Don Rickles doesn't fuck with teenagers.
That's true.
D-Rex, as you know.
Yeah, D. Ricks still don't have time for that. But because they don't give a shit, they fuck with them. So for the big event, they put on, rather than whatever movie it was supposed to be, they put on Men in Black who like to have sex with each other.
It's a great title.
Which was a pretty good gag. D. Ricks is not happy. But they get some cash, and then they think, well, let's make money from this. And they rent a storefront and do this professionally.
They get up that very, like their big sign up quick.
Yeah, they didn't waste any. Well,
This isn't like a banner. That's what I wanted to know.
No, there was like a
it's-
lit sign.
Yeah,
Well, they've only
crazy.
got 2 weeks to get the money for Chevy Chase.
It was lit.
So, yeah.
Questions where they got the money to set up this building.
Well,
How dare you? This is
I'm not
dirty
going to
work.
question it.
Artie Lange's sister sent them $2,000
Okay.
to help with Pops' heart transplant.
Yeah.
And they used that money.
All right.
Pops in the hospital.
They blew
shops.
it all on the side.
Blew it all on the signs. They decided to capitalize on an advertising option where Kathy from before, she runs into Mitch and she says she works at a used car dealership that's going to do a live TV commercial. And Mitch is like, we can fuck this commercial all up and advertise for ourselves. So they do so with a lot of prostitutes. No one wants to. Okay.
Yeah. keep
I'm
going.
trying to think of how to get this because this scene is the plot is good, but
Well, it's
great idea.
what's his name? David Koechner.
Cockner.
Cockner. David Cockner.
yeah, Cockner.
Yeah.
I want to say
It is Cockner.
It's-
I think it is.
Koechnu.
Cock something. Paul's got his machine going.
Speaking
Oh.
of cocked, ooh.
Is that a cock?
Well, Mike, do you want to say his name again?
Cockner.
Okay.
It's a different kind of podcast.
And he's like a big time dickbag selling Cadillacs. And Mitch rolls up and interrupts the live shoot. He's like, these trunks look really small. He's like, oh, the trunks are very spacious. Pops a trunk. There's a dead hooker in there. I mean, it's not really a dead hooker. It's just a regular hooker, but she's pretending to be dead. But all the trunks have hookers in them. Ruins the commercial. Great advertising for the dirty work business.
I do like the delivery of Norm Macdonald's. Hey, look, there's dead hookers in there. Yeah, look at this. There's dead. You know how he goes.
I've never seen so many dead hookers in my life.
So he gets a free commercial out of it, and
He
it's
does.
pretty funny. I like the scene a lot.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know the last time you guys watched a live from a used parking lot for a used car dealership commercial.
No,
But the scandals that's created has been just astronomical.
Well, I mean, it's a mistake. I don't know why used car dealerships insist on shooting all their commercials live.
you got to shoot
It
live.
seems like a mistake.
That's the hit. That's the hit move.
And usually there's
It does.
2 or 3 dead hookers, but I think there was 4 this time.
There were
so
quite a few.
It was definitely the most dead
Well, when
hookers.
you go live, you go big.
He uses the opportunity to sneak in his advertising business at the end. It's
Yeah.
like,
Lamar, would you say opportunity knocks?
it does. It knocks at the trunk with a dead hooker.
Oh.
Yeah. One of the
Ding dong.
One of the hookers was the Saigon whore who bit Jimmy's nose
Oh,
off.
that's true.
Well,
And he sees her on TV live, runs down there to confront. They get back together. It's sweet.
Why did they do it live?
At the core, it's a B-side romance.
It is. Yeah, that's the real plot. It's Jimmy and the Saigon whore's relationship story.
Seems like a band. Seems like a band theme. Maybe name.
Jimmy and the Saigon whore.
Sure.
Yeah.
That's a good name. Unsurprisingly, Kathy's upset that
Well, Kathy loses her job.
Yeah, it didn't work out well for her because the thing was a disaster for the company.
Yeah. They had to close. I mean, one failed live commercial, the dealership had to close. Within everything in this movie happens in a very short time frame.
He put all of his money into this commercial.
That was
It's
the
like
one
the new Star
thing,
Wars
yeah.
film. It happens in like 5 hours. It's like, you've got the Force. Use the Force.
It happens in 5 hours and sucks.
Now the Force.
Seems weird because I wrote down Kathy's fired, but then a midget walks in. Does
Well, yeah.
anybody else have this?
because
No.
it's montage
Okay,
time.
thank you.
Yeah, immediately when Kathy's like, yeah, thanks, I got fired, a dwarf walks in and is like, hey, your revenge business looks great. I need you to get revenge on the bearded lady at my freak show carnival. And,
I thought the old premise was revenge on the nerds.
well,
I mean, I wouldn't do that because I would probably hang with the nerds and they seem pretty
because
dope.
you're a
but
fucking nerd.
how dare you?
Bunch of fucking quimbies.
I don't know if you can hang with those nerds in 2023.
No.
Oh no! Yeah.
Oh no, God, no! But with like 2023 nerds, I could hang with. But those nerds, no.
No, not those
They've been canceled 87 times over.
But they do help the guy out with his bearded lady. Do you know who the bearded lady was?
No.
It was Rebecca Romaine.
That's awesome.
cool.
Wow!
Yeah. You just couldn't tell because she had a beard.
There's
That's
another
true.
cameo.
She wasn't blue.
Nice.
What?
She wasn't blue, or
Oh, she wasn't blue. Okay, yeah.
or married to the guy from Stand by Me and Sliders.
Was this pre or post Stamos?
It doesn't even matter anymore.
It doesn't.
It's always Stamos.
All Stamos all the time.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens next in this movie because I don't have my notes in front of me.
They
So
get
then-
revenge on the
Nerds.
Well, not the nerds, but the jocks, the fraternity.
No. Next is they don't deal with the fraternity in this scene or like in this chunk, do they?
This is funny because
Is it
it's
work?
all sounding like Revenge of the Nerds. to me. Like everything, the fraternity, the
Yeah, weren't
nerds.
they playing loud
Because
music?
it's
This
next
is-
is the neighbor.
this
the
is the
gangster.
neighbor with
Oh, it was
loud
the
music.
neighbors. Okay,
I
I
love
thought it
this
was their.
scene.
This was
Okay.
hilarious. Yeah.
So this guy he hires them. He's like, my neighbors, they're driving their cars, revving their engines, always being loud. I just need you to shut them up. So they go to this house and it's like this big kind of mansion. They start hiding fish everywhere, and then the owners of the house get home and it's clearly like mob boss time.
It was like crooked cops meet mob boss meets deal gone wrong.
Right. So they walk in and one of them's like, hey, I smell dead fish. And they're like, is that a code word? Are you a cop? They're like, no, it just smells like dead fish. And it just turns, you don't see it. It just pans back to Sam and Mitch. But it's just like a bloodbath massacre. And it's amazing.
Yeah, there's a chainsaw.
Yeah.
It ends with a grenade exploding.
Say hi to the devil for me.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah. It's pretty good.
So second client, mission complete.
Yeah,
Yeah.
great.
Third client is an old lady whose house is going to get bulldozed. Hires them to stop the bulldozer.
They used the popcorn trick from
Yep,
earlier.
They used that earlier.
Yeah.
Is that the popcorn trick that they use?
So
And
many
the-
popcorn tricks.
Unsurprisingly, after that one, they go straight to jail.
Yeah.
We call that the original Don Rickles La-Mar. Rickles Pickles.
Damn, those cops just rolled in on them too. Just
Well, they left a
That's
trail
gross.
of popcorn from the scene to their office.
that's true.
And
And they
so-
did that joke before, so it's easy to trace.
Yeah. But who bails them out of prison? Shooter McGavin, or whatever the fuck his name is.
I thought you were going to say a bottle of Bailey's, and we're going to lead into like some kind of like commercial like Bailey's, bringing in the New Year's 2024.
What's the shitty off-brand Baileys that we're drinking right now?
Quimby's.
Quimby's.
Is it really Quimby's? Okay, I was about to say, wow, that doesn't sound right.
Yikes, that went on forever.
Someone take that thing off.
It went on too long. Oh no, Colin took things away.
Whatever it is, I'm drinking it now. Quimby's, real creamy. Oh god.
God, Mike, calm down with your Quimbies. So many Quimbies. Guys, you guys are focusing too much on this dirty work. It's really just more, they're just doing dirty work. This is what this movie is.
Can you explain it to me in Full House?
Yeah, so it's like Stamos who like moved into the basement and Jesse and the Rippers is just trying to make it big, but like you just don't understand. Sometimes they're going on their Japanese tour, sometimes they're just playing like California. Sometimes he's just doing jingles with Joey. Like
Jingles with Joey.
I mean that La-Mar, am I wrong?
That does sound dirty.
We also got Aladdin makes an appearance. I could say all
Aladdin.
things.
That band was so small. How did they tour internationally?
Well, their audience in Japan was like 15 people, so that's
We got to get over there for our 15 fans.
well, you gotta.
That's similar to our Japanese audience.
That's true.
Yeah,
we'll get over there.
And if you look at the house in Full House over the years, it's like we're gonna add another room and we're gonna finish off the basement. All of a sudden, this place is like, I don't know, like 8,000 square feet.
Wow.
There's an attic. There's a basement. There's the Rippers.
I genuinely don't know what we're talking about any longer.
Mike, did someone say wood?
No?
Okay, that's fine.
What if I said there's a prison sex scene in this movie that's not seen but talked about thoroughly with ridiculousness?
Well, you don't see penetration, but
And I'm kind of questioning if the penetration was. I mean, they allude to it happening.
Yeah, pretty directly.
yeah.
The most hurtful thing was the lack of respect. Well, there was that other thing, but
other
then
thing.
the lack of
And
respect.
he's actually pulling up his pants.
Well, sometimes in dirty work, it goes wrong.
And it's ridiculous.
Shooter McGavin made promises he did not uphold, and then Sam and Mitch went to jail.
Well, no, so he bailed them out of jail.
Yeah, he
also
spotted
bails
out
him
by
out.
Travis.
Yeah, he bails them out and was like, hey, great work. Can you fuck up a house for me? Because it's crackheads living in there, and I want to evict them, but I can't, so fuck the house up. And they're like, we'll do it for $50,000. He's like, yeah, that's the right amount of money for that.
Should have sent out a alarm right there.
Yeah, but it didn't.
It's fine.
So they agree to it, and on their way, they run into Kathy, who's like, oh, that house is where my grandmother lives. And they're like, well, that sucks. We're going to do this anyway.
And they do. and they
do.
trash it.
Because they think the grandmother is a pimp.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Yeah.
Inconsequential.
Yeah.
Three women walk in, so she must be running a
Right.
brothel.
An old lady with three attractive women has got to be a madame and her flock.
So they trash the house, and Shooter McGavin's like, you know what? I'm not going to pay you shit.
Yeah.
I didn't own that house, so psych.
Right. You know who owned the house?
Psych.
Psych owned the house.
Psyche McGillicuddy.
Kirkpatrick owned the house.
Kirk Cameron.
Could have been Schneider.
Kirk Cameron owned the house.
Candace Cameron's brother. It's always
shit.
back to Full House with you, Mike.
God, I know. I don't know how I keep making
Full
this
circle.
full house circle.
You know, online they call Mike the Full House Boomerang.
Yeah, that's my online nickname.
It's not Paladin Mike.
That's just what I'm known as.
Some
internally.
circles?
Yeah.
Okay.
Just in this room. I'll take another swig of this.
This guy just calls
Quimby.
us a circle jerk.
There you go.
Screw this guy.
The delicious Quimby.
It's this Quimby
Feel
juice.
the creamy Quimby running down my throat.
That's
Okay.
Mitch and
was said by
Sam
you.
are pissed.
Well, yeah, Mitch and Sam were pissed. They don't get the money.
Yeah.
gotta get the money.
They're marching down to Travis's building.
You've got to march with the right shoes.
Yeah. They got the right shoes on.
Tie them up. Bought new laces. Got them at Walgreens.
Well, the
Made a
other
special
consequential
trip.
thing that happens after the new laces of Walgreens is Pops tells Mitch that he's his father.
Pick me up some Junior Mints. Going to
Yeah, he's like, hey, Junior Mint, I'm your father. And Mitch is like, no. And Pops is like, I wear a locket around my neck, which contains a picture of me fucking your mom. Take a look at it. And he's like, oh, sick. Okay.
The eyeliner she's wearing is from Walgreens, so
Yeah,
You
but
make
he
a lot of
doesn't.
trips
He
to
doesn't.
Walgreens.
He doesn't let Mitch tell Sam that he doesn't want him to know.
pick up shampoo and snacks, pharmacy goods. Mm-hmm. Brought to you by Walgreens, CVS.
You know, you got to find an attendant to unlock everything for you now. It's such a pain in the ass.
I need some razor blades. You're a thief, sir.
Yeah.
I think this is actually the time when Sam finds out.
Is it? I my notes are.
Oh yeah, the reveal was earlier.
I don't know what
to
the fuck's
Mitch.
going on right now.
And
So-
now it's revealed to Sam.
Yeah.
How far are we into this episode right now?
been
3 hours.
I've been the Phantom of the Opera the entire time. You've been enchanted by my music and my candy.
Okay.
I think we've got about 4 minutes left of dirty work, so we can probably get this wrapped up in half an hour or so.
Yeah. Let's just burn through the rest of this movie.
Why do you guys gotta make it dirty? Like it's a dirty
Yeah,
movie.
I don't know. So to make it up, so basically they fuck up what's her name's life.
Yeah.
Everyone's unhappy.
Yeah.
To make it up for them, they're going to get back at Shooter McGavin.
Yeah, a bunch of frowny faces.
Yeah, and he's to do this, they're going to ruin his opera. He's a big opera.
I told
fan.
you it's Phantom of the Opera.
Wow, that one came in loud.
I don't even know.
Colin, you regret that, don't you?
I don't even know what- Before we do the next podcast, am I going to have to come down here and like sweep the room for novelty items?
Oh no, we'll
gonna sweep
bring
the
the
lik?
items.
You
with
won't
us.
find them all.
No, there's no way. We're in a room of like toys.
How dare you?
These are action figures.
Some of them are, yeah. So they decide to fuck up this opera, Don Giovanni,
The Don.
and they're going to do it with skunks and prostitutes.
Used to be the Don Juan. Now her
Pretty
name
Pretty
is
much
just
like
Twan.
It's pretty much the culmination of all of his previous pranks. He gets all the prostitutes, the homeless guys, all of them together.
Yeah.
to come fuck up this opera.
One last rodeo.
It is.
I work with a guy named Twan, and I can't say his name.
Did you look at
just
him and
did.
say your name was used to be the Don Juan? Now her
I
name is
really
just
want to
Twan.
tell him that he used to be a Don Juan. I don't know
Is it just Twan?
Yeah.
his name. Yeah, his name is literally Twan.
Okay, I can see that.
Yeah, he doesn't look like he used to be a Don Juan. It's hard to tell.
Yeah. Did
Twan,
you-
shout out. You don't listen to this.
well, I mean, pull the popcorn trick on him and see how it goes.
Which popcorn trick?
Put popcorn in his car, make it explode.
I don't
Make it come out of the exhaust unexplicably.
Which one were you thinking of? Like the sexual one?
Yeah.
You're on your own, friend.
There's so many sexual ones, though. Which one? Which
Well,
exact
Mike's
one?
gonna play tummy sticks with Twan.
My God damn it. My dick is like corn. Give me the butter, baby.
Oh, we got a strange cameo here from John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman's in this movie. That's
Oh, the
right.
goodies?
Before the
I
before
still
the
don't get it,
opera,
Big Dan.
he came out for 2 seconds, like I don't get it, Big Dan, and then left.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
That was
got,
weird.
got a goodie bag at the end.
This is either going to be our most popular episode or our worst episode.
We will find out.
Well, we will find out.
Well, this is at the end where they do their dirty work.
Yeah.
And they
true.
dirty it up good.
Well, so okay, we're burning through it. They ruin the opera. Mitch actually had a recording of Shooter McGavin explaining the plot of the movie because he forgot that he had his recorder on.
Sure, that high def recorder that costs $5.
Yeah. So he uses it to blackmail him. He gets a check for Chevy Chase
And the Jehovah's Witnesses.
and the Jehovah's Witnesses. They all get the checks. The Girl Scouts get the cookies. The Boy Scouts get the popcorn.
I want the fudgesicles.
No one gets the fudgesicles.
Jimmy gets a new nose
Jimmy
Oh,
gets
yeah,
a new
that's
nose
and a Saigon whore.
and a Saigon whore.
a-
Kirkpatrick gets his building back.
Fairy tale.
It all kind of wraps up.
Yeah,
Kirkpatrick got a bum fucking deal in this.
He got to punch 3 guys in the stomach. That's how he
In,
works.
in return, he got a
shitty
destroyed, a condemned apartment building.
I do like how the movie wraps up literally with him just driving away and him monologuing that the doctor that he gave the $50K to was beaten to death. That's it. Bye. Credits roll.
I think I think the audience really deserved like some kind of like hip hop like
That would have been nice, yes.
Dirty word.
This movie did have post-credit bloopers, which I appreciate.
Sure.
What this movie really could have benefited from was like a purpose-written rap song that summarized the plot of the movie.
Dirty
after the
work.
movie. Because not enough movies do that.
I'm trying to think
like-
of all of the movies we've seen that said that. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
This is what we do.
Definitely. God, what was that Fat Boys movie we did?
Disorderlies?
Disorderly.
There's dirty work.
It might have been. They did
Dirty
do dirty
work.
work there.
Well, before we give you our final views on dirty work, feel free to reach out to us at rabbittroopsuckspodcast@gmail.com or reach out to us directly at rabbittroopsucks.com. Facebook, Instagram, if there's any movies you think we should watch, if there's some dirty work you think we should get into.
We'll probably do it, honestly.
Mike,
We could use the money.
has there been money?
No.
Where's the money? Where is this money?
No, well, there's negative. We've spent money.
That's the dirty work.
Yeah, yeah. If some of the money came back,
Oh, like a boomerang.
like a boomerang.
Boomerang Mike.
Yes.
New year.
Yeah.
New moniker. So how awesome was dirty work for everyone? Dirty work.
It was dirty,
Yeah.
but it was awesome. Dirty awesome.
I go back, like, in all seriousness, this movie is weird. It totally works for me. It's kind of like a weird comedy. It's totally fun to watch with friends, but what Collin noted is it's just like a series of montages. Like, once you know the characters, it's just like out of sequence things, kind of overall. But it works. Like, I know that's like really weird, but that's why I said before, I encourage anyone listening to this to watch this movie, especially if you know the cast members and stuff like this. The sad moment is, like
Everyone's dead.
Yeah, like half the core group is deceased. Bob Saget, Don Rickles, Pops, Norm MacDonald. That sucks. But yeah, it's totally worth watching. I had fun with it. Dirty work.
I think I mentioned this before, that the runtime of this movie, the 10 minutes that was cut that make it an actual full 90 minutes. I think they did a good job of editing that stuff out. I think if they left that in, the dialogue would have been too long. It would have felt like a different movie. I think there might have been some love scene dialogue too between Mitch and Kathy that they tried to maybe expand on, but I'm glad they kept it really short. I'm glad that they kept everything short in this movie.
Did
I'm
they end up
happy
together
for the
at the
length.
end?
Yeah,
Yes,
were
they
in
drove
the car
up in the
together.
end. He got the
okay.
girl.
La-Mar, how do you like that our podcast is longer than the film
I
itself?
love it.
Dirty work.
I appreciate some of these longer episodes where we are heavily into the liquids.
Well, I mean, like, I think the real premise of this episode is more like not about dirty work, but Full House, and how is Paladin Mike,
That's true.
making this a fuller house for one of the characters, and you throwing out that Aunt Becky is the one he's hooking up with is kind of blowing my mind.
I was looking at the roster and I figured Aunt Becky's the safe choice.
Yeah.
You don't want to touch with any of the others.
I
You
appreciate
don't want
these.
to. Yeah.
I appreciate these longer episodes turning a full house into a full home.
That's nice.
Hey,
It's good. It's like a
that'll be-
Hallmark.
That'll be the name
card.
of the spinoff of podcast Full Home.
Aw. It's cool.
2-hour episodes of analysis of Full House episodes
Sure, great.
featuring Mike.
I couldn't imagine anything Mike would like more than watching Full House episodes and talking about it on a regular
I
basis.
couldn't even
No, that-
imagine,
that-
but I would pay money.
That sounds amazing. You know what? If you pay me money, I'll
it would
do
be
it.
very little money, not enough to make you excited.
Yeah,
I'll
this
tell you.
is going to be an expensive endeavor for you guys. This movie is fucking awesome, though.
It is.
I've seen this movie 8,000 times.
Have you really?
absolutely- No, but I don't
Yeah.
know. I've seen it a lot
When's the first time you saw it?
when it came out.
In theaters?
Potentially.
Wow.
I want to say Chris Brewer and I, from guest host of this podcast, I think we saw this movie in the theater.
Were you a Norm MacDonald fan at the time, or did you know about him?
Big Norm MacDonald fan at the time.
Cool.
At the end, when they're ruining the opera and Shooter McGavin says, "You're ruining Don Giovanni," and Norm MacDonald says, "Don Giovanni? Who's that dude?" Who's that dude is something I say in my life 3 times a day, and no one understands why.
Damn.
Every time I walk up to a jukebox, I say, "Street Fighting Man G7," No one knows what I'm talking about.
I don't know why for one quick second, Mike, I thought you were going to say you walk up to a jukebox and say, "Who's that dude?"
Who's that dude? I say "Who's that dude" a lot.
Nice. It's nice to have a reference to all your little jokes that we
quote
don't
this
get.
movie a lot. I mean, this movie is not great by today's standards, but I absolutely love it. I laugh constantly throughout this movie. You should watch it. Everyone's dead. It's sad.
That is sad.
Yeah.
Colin, what do you think of this?
I'm a pretty easy laugh, so if I'm not laughing, it's bad. But this is not the case. I was laughing pretty much throughout the whole thing, to the point where it's like, am I interrupting this movie for other people because I'm just giggling the whole freaking time?
Oh, shit,
yeah,
no.
it's
so
great.
stupid.
It's so
like,
good.
It's low hanging fruit, but it works so
all the
well
time.
for me.
It just gets me every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mike, that's what I noted before too. Like this low-hanging fruit. Like I know that sounds bad on the surface, but this movie really comes together like in this weird anomaly of a way that, again, it's a series of montages. You kind of like have to assume who these characters are, but then it's just fun. Like it's super weird.
Right. Low hanging fruit is also the side name of my secret Dropbox.
There was also, I noted in a lot of my notes, a lot of fruit comments. Like,
He does call him fruity or Mr.
Yeah.
Fruit.
when he's talking to
there's just
Enzo
a lot.
or whatever the fuck his name
Just
is.
all
You tell
throughout-
those Italian fruits.
Yeah, there's just
Yeah.
a lot of weird. Yeah, that would not hold up.
No, I mean a lot of the obviously the prison rape that they were making fun of.
not gonna
You
happen.
probably can't do like the gay dog thing. You're not going to want to do that. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can't do anymore. And rightfully so. I'm not defending it.
No.
I'm just, because I'm a terrible person, and when this came out, I was a child. I thought it was funny, and I still do. So
There you go.
Yeah.
You know what a lot of people can't do? The movie we're going to do next week.
oh, what's that?
Bruce Willis,
Oh God, that's right.
Hudson Hawk.
We're doing what is considered to be one of the worst movies of all time.
Yeah, it's crazy. First Bruce Willis movie we got out of the gates, just a bananas, polarizing film. Is this movie good? I
No, it's not.
was not going to say anything.
Ooh, ... question mark.
But
at that.
we do have a repeat appearance from what's his name? He was in The Goo.
The Goo Guy?
Goo guy make
Someone help me out.
What are you doing?
I don't know anyone from The Goo. I forgot
God damn
all
it.
their
Hey,
names.
The stuff?
The guy.
So the stuff, yeah. No, The Goo, the stuff. It's the same movie.
It is. There's so many people in that.
Is it Christoper McDonald? as a villain?
Christoper McDonald is in the stuff. He's Tommy Five Tones in Hudson Hawk.
Sure. The goo.
You guys suck at that.
Yeah, I can't wait for it.
7 levels of goo.
Danny Aiello.
Yes.
Hey, okay, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. He plays a guy in
Gooinator?
oh my God. Yeah, well, he's in Hudson Hawk. And
All right. I
The
can't
Hawk
wait.
name?
Can't wait to see it.
that's all I got. That's all I got for you.
I do remember that you said polarizing movie, Paul. Yeah, the critics were really heavy on this movie when it came out.
Hudson Hawk you're talking about.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
it did terribly.
Definitely. A lot of them hated it. Some loved
Everyone
it. It was
hated
like,
it.
what the hell?
Tony Hawk got a back tattoo about it.
I saw Hudson Hawk when it first came out, and because I was a moron child, kind of enjoyed it.
Mike took off his pants and just started walking around.
I
like
haven't
he
been
owned the
wearing
place.
pants since. That was the last time.
Wow. It's been a rough couple decades.
Yeah.
It's been a pantsless season.
Yeah.
Like the nuts of the season. We got to bring it back, but it's a pantsless season.
Well, I mean, the nuts of the season are in full view of everyone because there's no pants.
Colin's already in his car.
Yeah, Colin is left.
Well, it reminded me of Last Man Standing for a Bruce Willis movie that I think is super cool,
No, that is a good one.
because all of the Kurosawa stuff just popped back up on HBO.
Yeah, all right.
Last Man Standing is like a Yojimbo story.
Yeah.
All right.
Colin brought it to a serious point. I don't know. I don't,
Wow. How can
you
you
in with
explain it to
that?
us in Full House?
I can't because I also have never seen the Wild.
There you go.
If Mike was part of Jesse and the Rippers, who would Mike be?
Which member of the Rippers was more like Yojimbo?
That's a good question.
Hard questions to answer. Considering I know none of the members of the Rippers.
No one does.
La-Mar, all you could really do is cut it out.
What is that guy's name?
That's Joey Glassstone.
No, his real name.
Dave Coulier.
Thank you. I've been trying to think of that all fucking night.
I've been referring to Mike as Coulier for years. I was like, Coulier's in town.
Didn't he? He did like an animal impression. Was it a badger? It wasn't a weasel. That's the other.
See,
guy.
now you're getting it. Now you're in
Look at
a
this guy.
full house.
Yeah, no, I'm bringing it back.
Well, yeah, look at this guy talking about, I don't know anything about the show, but I know core elements about characters and side characters in his writing process. This guy's like Dave Coulier fanatic.
What animal was it?
It was a woodchuck.
A woodchuck. Okay.
Ugh, gross. A woodchuck's not even a musculid or whatever the family of animals that stoats and weasels are.
Stoats. We're getting into genus. Okay.
Well, whatever stoat you are, have a great night. And as always, Rabbit Troop sucks.
Wow. Yeah.